live here at Laramie County Sheriff's Department.
Laramie.
Laramie.
Yeah, Larimer's over in Colorado. We're
Did
Laramie.
I say Laramie?
Yes.
Man, can you tell that I'm from Colorado?
Yeah.
We're live at Laramie County.
Oh, you did
Laramie
There
County
you go.
Sheriff's Department with the Sheriff Kozak.
Right.
And Sheriff, thanks for letting us come in and take up some of your precious time with to do this interview.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Appreciate it. Very quickly, let's get a little bit of your background. How long have you been in law enforcement, and how did you end up deciding to become sheriff?
Yeah, so just over 35 years. I've been sheriff here for almost a year now. So coming up on a year. So it's gone by fast. We've done a lot of things in this last year, and I'm really proud of everyone working hard to get this stuff done. But prior to that, I was the police chief here in Cheyenne for 11 years. And then prior to that, I was a police chief in Colorado, Avon, Colorado, ski resort town next to Vail, up there where Beaver Creek is. Did that for 4 years there. And before that, I was with the Mesa, Arizona Police Department for 22 years.
Oh, wow, Mesa.
Yeah.
That is the Wild West down there.
It was busy, yeah. Big city, about 500,000 population. We had about 1,000 cops working there.
So what brought you to Wyoming?
It was actually, of course, when I came here, I was the police chief in Colorado, and I just wanted a more of a conservative area, a little bit more affordable for cost of living. It was too expensive to live there, retire there in Colorado, so that's why I wound up here.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And so, yeah, you've definitely seen your fair share of stuff.
Yeah.
So, since you've been sheriff, the community has definitely noticed a change in the way your deputies act with the public and so on. And I mean, huge kudos to you for that. I mean, obviously you've went into training, you've put them into training, and very quickly, I do have people that are on my channel that aspire to be law enforcement. Now, what would you recommend to the younger people that do watch my channel?
Mm-hmm.
What would you recommend for them to do? How to work their way into law enforcement, say from a teenage area, 13, 14 years old? What should they start doing now to prepare to become a law enforcement officer?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's good because when I was a kid in high school, that was my goal, was to be a police officer. And so I joined a police explorer post. And so as a kid, I got to ride with the cops. I got to see the job, had training in law enforcement. And that's where I really fell in love with the career. I knew that's what I wanted to do. And that's what I did. That was my career goal. So I would suggest to look for a program like that. There's not any locally, although that is a goal of mine to eventually implement a cadet program. So hopefully within the next couple of years. So our first step is we're launching a posse program for volunteer citizens. And so that's the first step. And then once we get that off the ground and going, then we'll introduce a cadet program as well.
Now, can adults also get into that type of program to work with you guys as well as volunteers?
Yeah, we just started the posse program. So we have, I think right now we're processing around 15 people as applicants. We're doing background checks on them. And so as soon as we get people on board, we're going to have volunteers involved in the agency doing just about anything that they have an interest in that doesn't require a badge and a gun. So people working at the front desk, people doing background investigations, people going out and doing VIN checks, responding to calls as far as VIN checks, helping with traffic control, just anything where a citizen can help us do our job, so the deputy that has the gun can go to the more serious calls and try to fight crime.
Now, I have a friend, he's retired Orange County sheriff, and he's told me some of the wild stuff. Now, as sheriff, what sort of powers do you have within Laramie County?
Mm-hmm.
I heard, he told me, he says that you can actually, if there's a federal investigation going on in your county, you still have complete control over the feds. Is to where if it's something that you don't want happening in your county, you can tell them you need to leave.
Yeah.
Could you explain a little about that, the role of the sheriff's department
Yeah.
in the county?
So I would say the sheriff has a little bit more of authority because it's the only elected official, law enforcement official in the county. So the sheriff works right for the people. All right. So the sheriff doesn't answer to a mayor or a city council or commissioners. So the sheriff is, responds to the people. So so really that does give the sheriff more authority to do what is right. Okay, not worry about politics, but to actually do what's right. Also under state law, the sheriff has the authority to swear people in, deputize them. And so, yep, in Wyoming, we have that authority to do that. Now, along with that comes all the liability. So if you swear in someone as a deputy and they go out and do something stupid, yeah, I'm going to get sued. The county's going to get sued. So I know that we have that authority, but we don't use it a lot unless we're for sure, we know what the person's going to be doing. Now, as far as federal law enforcement, so they do operate really on their own. A lot of times we don't know what they're doing, and so the way I've tried to alleviate that, to have knowledge what they're doing, I actually have deputies assigned to some of the federal agencies. So I have a deputy assigned to the U.S. Marshal Service, and so our deputy works with the U.S. Marshal Service to apprehend wanted fugitives. So we know the fugitives that they're looking for because I have someone assigned there. I have a deputy assigned to the Drug Enforcement Agency, to the DEA task force. I have 2 deputies assigned to that, particularly because it's such an important topic for me because of all the fentanyl and methamphetamine issues that we're having. So that's why I have 2 deputies assigned to them. So again, I know the investigations that they're involved in. Yeah, go ahead, you had a question?
Yeah, that kind of leads me to my next question, is what do you feel is the biggest problem we have here in Laramie County right now?
Oh, I would say without a doubt it's going to be the fentanyl, the drug. Methamphetamine is still a problem, but fentanyl is also a big problem, if not a larger problem than meth. So combating that, and because that is the driving force with most of our property crime. The people committing robberies, burglaries, auto theft, it's usually because of drug addiction. So what we're doing to combat that is, like I said, I put 2 deputies, increased that on the DEA task force. We are also going out and apprehending people who have active warrants. So if you look on our social media page, we put out our most wanted list. So we just started that program because I want the citizens helping us find these people. So we get the tips, we can get them arrested, get them in custody. If you see, most of the people on that most wanted list are people wanted for property crimes, burglary, theft over 1,000, drug offenses, fentanyl. So again, we're trying to get them in jail, and then our long-term strategy, once they're in jail, we're starting to implement drug programming. So this next month, we're going to be bringing back Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, and then our long-term strategy is to do more long-term drug addiction treatment. And also when we release someone from jail, getting them connected to the resources in the community with our goal that they don't come back to jail. So we want to try to keep people from coming back to jail.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I did some background on the crime rate out here, and it did show violent crimes, we are well below the national average. Mm-hmm. However, property crime, we are above the national average.
Yep, that is for sure. So in fact, in 2021, 2022, we were about 2 times over the national average on auto theft and burglaries. And I think one of the major reasons for that was during COVID, we were the only jail that was closed to property offenders and drug offenders. So they accepted people that were wanted for violent crimes, domestic violence, but not for property crimes or drug offenses. So those offenders remained in our community. Even though they had warrants for their arrest, the cops couldn't bring them into the jail. And so they kept committing crimes. And that's why those 2 years, crimes shot way up. And that's why when I took office just under a year ago, it was my goal to open the jail, keep it open, and also go out and hunt these fugitives and get them into custody, because that is the driving force of our crime. Those fugitives are out there, and we're trying to get them captured.
Awesome, awesome. I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up. because it was something that I need to bring up, and I know it's a kind of a sticky point. I report on the good and the bad. You guys recently had a deputy that allegedly assaulted an 8-year-old boy. Can you give us an update on what's going on with that? Did he get any, what repercussions were done on him? What, is he still working with the force? What were you guys able to do?
Yeah, okay, so that deputy, that incident happened 2 years ago, so before I came into office. So it was the previous sheriff that investigated that incident and had a disposition on that. They investigated it, they took action. Under state law, I'm not allowed to talk about disciplinary actions with employees because that's confidential under state law unless there's a court order.
Completely understand.
But yeah, it was the previous administration that dealt with that. Now the deputy is still employed here, however, not acting as a school resource officer any longer. The incident is being handled in court, you know, and so what was released to the media was one side of what happened. And keep in mind that came from a defense attorney that wants to make money, okay? Right. So the other side of it, people haven't heard yet. Right. And because of the litigation, of course, the county doesn't want to comment on it because they feel it's more appropriate to comment on that in a court of law. Right. And so that's what they're waiting for, is for that to go to trial and for that to resolve itself. Now, when I took office, I realized right up front there may be some issues with the school resource program. One of the things was there was not a policy involved in the agency. So I suspended the program. If you remember, shortly after January when I took office, I pulled the school resource officer out of the school. And remember, there was a lot of controversy in the community. Why are you doing that, Sheriff? What, you know, people were upset that I did that. Well, it's because I wanted to rebuild the program and do it right. So we have since developed a policy. We've selected 2 new school resource deputies. They've been to training, and we're about ready to launch the program again in District 2 for Pine Bluffs and Burns. And so hopefully next week we're going to do a news release and relaunch that program. But we started from ground up. We started over again to make sure we were doing it with best practices. Another thing that happened during that incident, there was an allegation that the deputy deleted video. Completely not true, okay? The video system that the sheriff's office had in place at that time cannot be deleted. So the system is built so employees cannot delete video, okay? However, the portions of the video did not record, and that's where that allegation, the attorney for the other party made that allegation. So what had happened though, the camera failed. It did not record, and so we sent that camera back to the vendor for a forensic evaluation. And the company said it failed. So as sheriff, what I did was, we can't have that system anymore. So I got rid of it, got a whole new video camera system, which is the Axon body camera system. And you probably saw here just recently, we updated all the cars as well with the new camera system. So all of our deputies, our cars have brand new video systems. They work great. So that will not be an issue in the future. So again, out of that situation, I recognized 2 things. One was we needed to develop a policy for the program, rebuild the program. Also, we needed to replace the video camera system. So that's what I did as sheriff to correct that problem. Now, as far as what happened 2 years ago with the incident, again, unfortunately, I can't comment on that. So that was the previous administration.
Understandable. And since you've taken office, I guess we could call it, you have done a lot of changes to the good here in Laramie County. I've seen it. A lot of my viewers have seen it. It's your deputies out there are just outstanding. We love watching them. They're very sociable to a certain, as far as they can go. Very interactive.
Good to hear that. Yeah.
And I mean, we've never had a problem with a 1. So except when Fubar here decides to get into the middle of a crime scene and not realize it. That's my own dang fault. Back off, Fubar! But they have been outstanding, and I have always said that it's due to leadership is how the people under you act. And you have really hit the ball out of the park on this. with your training, now I know what I do here is kind of new to everybody here. How do you train your deputies to deal with somebody doing what I'm doing?
Okay, yeah. I mean, we train all of our deputies on constitutional law, and so First Amendment, hopefully they're all very clear on your right to film from public places, and so they're all aware of that, and hopefully they understand they don't get in the way, and if they think you're getting in the way, they let you know. So yeah, so they're all trained in that, and First Amendment, very important.
Okay,
Yep.
I just, because it's something new here in Cheyenne.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of what we're doing here in Cheyenne. It's new. The big
Yeah.
cities, they're used to it. And
Yeah, the way I look at it is, you're helping. I mean, because you're out there, you're another set of eyes. So again, you're listening to the scanner, you know suspects that we're looking for. You're helping look for the person as well. So are your viewers, right? They may say, hey, look, did you see that guy on the side of the street? And so then you can call us and let us know, hey, you might want to check this guy out. It matches the description of the person you're looking for. So so I think it's a great thing that what you're doing. Also, I think it brings attention to some of the issues that are important to us and law enforcement, especially here at the Sheriff's Office. The problem with impaired driving, the problem with drug influence. So when you record when a deputy is making an arrest for DUI, people get to see we're doing our job, we're doing the right thing, and hopefully it's preventing other idiots from doing similar things like that. So again, I think you're a community resource as well.
I talked with one of your deputies. It was off the record, off camera and stuff. And I said, I've noticed that you guys pull a lot of people over for tail light out, a headlight out, stuff like that. And what I had to kind of explain to my viewers is in Wyoming, it's illegal to do a DUI checkpoint like it is in other states. The deputy told me, he says, we're not out there for the headlight, the tail light, that's it. He says, what we're looking for is DUI, drugs. He says, that's just giving us an excuse to pull you over. And I think it's awesome. Others, on the other hand, just yesterday, there was a person that said he's been pulled over 8 times in the last 3 months for taillight being out. Or no, for his license plate light being out.
Why doesn't he fix it then?
And I'm here going, then you didn't get the clue after maybe the second time to fix the darn thing?
Right.
So I mean, come on, common sense.
Yeah.
So, now, what is your policy on that with your deputies out there pulling people over for minor traffic?
Yeah. Well, a couple things here. So we've made it a priority in our agency to focus on traffic safety, especially around school zones, bus stops, things like that. And so we started what's called as the high visible enforcement. And you see on social media, we post when we're going to be doing a hive operation to give our followers, they get a heads up then. They know that we're going to be in an area. So it's just a reminder for traffic safety. And we go out and we work speed enforcement, we work high visible enforcement, trying to get people to focus on traffic safety so we can reduce the crashes. Okay, that's our goal with that. And also DUI enforcement. That's also an agency goal, is to do more investigations for DUI enforcement. So again, yeah, so deputies are stopping for, let's say, equipment violations, and if they're not impaired, they'll let them go right away. So it's a numbers game, because it's usually after 10 p.m. it's about 15 to 20% of the driving public is driving impaired. So the deputies are making a lot of stops, and odds are 1 or 2 out of 10 stops that they make, someone will be impaired, and then they can make the arrest.
Right. Yeah. Yep. And I've seen that on my side as well. It's like all of a sudden, scanner will light up. We got to pull over here and over here and over there and over there, and I'm here going, I can't be at all places at the same time, guys.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So usually, if they're not impaired, they give them a warning. They check their license, make sure they're not wanted, and then they let them go and tell them to fix whatever issue they stopped them for. The key with that, tell people how to get out of a ticket like that. Just be nice. Be nice.
Right.
Be nice to the officer. Be nice to the deputy. Be honest. And in most cases, you know, they're going to let you go because they're looking for something more serious.
And I tell my guys when I'm out there, I've got 5 minutes to get to one of those stops.
Yeah.
And because you guys are so efficient at what you're doing, it's like if I'm not there within 5 minutes, normally the stop's done and over with.
Yeah.
And I said, but however, if it's over 5 minutes, there's something else wrong.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, sometimes it doesn't come over the scanner. We don't know. It may be a ticket, which a lot of my people are amazed on how, I hate to say it, little tickets you guys actually give. You guys are very lenient on stuff, unlike in a big city where you got a taillight out, you're getting a ticket for it, period.
Oh, yeah.
In Colorado, we called it our hidden tax. So,
Yeah.
because they
So
would
here,
lose
you know,
nothing.
That might happen in places where the money goes to the police agency,
Mm-hmm.
but in here it goes to the school district. So all the tickets we write just benefits our children.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
We don't get any at the sheriff's office or the county government. It all goes to the school district.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. That's the first I've heard of that, and I think that is just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the sheriff's department handles the jail here, correct?
Yep.
Sallyport?
Yes.
I wish I could have a video in there at 24 hours a day. Let me tell you what. I hear over the scanner, we need help at the Sallyport. We need.
Okay.
We got problem in booking. So the sheriff's office runs the jail and the booking and stuff.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when CPD or State Patrol come in, you guys kind of take it from there after they drop them off.
We
drop the
do,
suspects
yeah.
off.
So the sheriff's primary responsibility is the jail, I would say. Jail. We also have juvenile detention as well, which is another location. We're responsible for court security as well, and then we have patrol responsibility in the unincorporated areas of the county. Although a deputy still has full authority within the city as well and can take action. But I think our primary, as sheriff, it's number one is the jail, operate the jail. Also service of civil papers, so we're officers of the court. We serve all the papers that the district court and circuit court need served. We assist them with that, and we provide security for the judges in the court as well.
Okay, and also I've seen that you guys work with other agencies, and the other agencies work great with you. As a matter of fact, I was on just the other night. It was a 2-for-1 stop. You guys had a guy pulled over here, and CPD had, I mean, both of them within camp, and I'm here going, holy cow, we get a twofer. And the CPD officer got done with his stop, turned around, got right up behind your sheriff's vehicle, and started assisting your deputy. And I've seen that numerous times where State Patrol shows up, and Sheriff's Department will come in and assist. You guys all work so well together.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's our goal. Is one team to fight crime. So we're helping each other constantly.
Now, here's something that kind of hits me a little bit: is high-speed chases in this town. I have noticed since I've just been doing this that those have started to become on the rise. CPD over the scanner. Usually, if somebody takes off on them, they'll call it in. The supervisor, what were you pulling them over for? Oh, it was a tail light or whatever. Let them go. Stop pursuit. Sheriffs, it's kind of 50-50 from what I found, is you guys will either pursue, half the time you'll pursue, the other half not so much. And then of course, State Patrol, they don't care, they'll go. What is your policy on that? The reason I'm asking this is I saw a ding-dong on Facebook post on the CPD site about one of the high-speed chases, and he says, yeah, I've been in numerous high-speed chases and they haven't caught me yet. And I'm here going, hey, great place to frickin' advertise it, dude.
Yeah.
So what are your policies on that? Because people are kind of confused on that.
Yeah, each agency is different. In the sheriff's office, we really put a lot of accountability in our sergeants, our supervisors, to evaluate what's the person wanted for, what's the danger to the community. And so if it seems like it's a high-speed chase, it's going into a populated area, the sergeant might say it's not worth it, let's terminate that and cancel it, we'll catch them another time. So it all depends on what kind of risk we're willing to take, because they are dangerous. You know, people, most pursuits end in a crash.
Yep.
So that's what we're evaluating. So things like if there's if there's juveniles involved, we know juveniles are driving the car, we'll probably let that one go, all right, because we don't want kids getting hurt. If we know who the person is, we probably won't chase it, because we'll give them another time. We know who they are. So things like that we evaluate on. What's the crime? Is it a violent crime? Is it just, like you said, tail light out? Probably not worth the risk. So again, we're evaluating that constantly.
Okay.
That's why you hear on the radio, a lot of times sergeants will get on and say, what do they want it for? What's the speed? What's traffic conditions? So those are things, and then the deputy or the officer has to relay that to the supervisor who's making the determination, do I let it go or not?
Which, unfortunately, it kind of comes over bad at times. I myself can see both sides. It's like I heard one, they ducked down into a neighborhood, they immediately terminated pursuit. But you've got the other side of the fence where it's like, hold it, this guy, there's a reason he's running.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, and I've told people it could be something as stupid as his license is suspended.
Exactly, yep.
Yeah, just something as stupid as that, and he's putting the public at risk.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like, get him another time.
Right.
So, you guys have got to walk a very fine line. I understand that, and that's why I was asking about the policy. Like I said, there's this idiot out there. Oh yeah, I ran from the cops and they've never caught me. And it's like, no, they'll get you sooner or later. Sooner or later, they're going to do something stupid.
That's exactly right.
And they're going to zap you.
Yeah.
So it's not if, it's when. So, kind of to wrap things up here, and I thank you again for
you're welcome.
for your time. What would it take? I'm trying to get some stock footage because I'm going to do a new intro of
Sallyport.
I would love to get a tour of the Sallyport and the booking.
Okay.
And also, if you guys got like one of your show vehicles that you take out to the public and stuff, that I can film, just get down, maybe get some night shots, some day shots, and it's going to go on to the intro of my video.
Yeah, we'll help you with that.
So I would love to. I talked to a deputy one night. He had beautiful, just clean cruiser, and I'm going, dude, can I get shots of this? And he says, you got to call into the office for that.
Okay.
And I'm going, oh, come on, man. Don't make me wait until you pull somebody over and take it there. but no, I mean, like I said, you guys have been awesome to me. If I do something wrong, I'll be the first one to admit to it. I don't do this well. I was told I could be here, and another one overrules. No, I don't play that. It's like, you tell me where to go, I'll be there.
Okay.
So I will not get in your way. I've got a zoom on the camera, and that's what it's there for.
No problem. Deputies tell me you're very respectful out there, so thanks for that.
Well,
like I say, we view it as you're another set of eyes for us, and we know you're going to be there to help us if we need it. So
yes, if very quickly, what are the Good Samaritan? Is there a Good Samaritan law in Wyoming?
Good Samaritan. What do you mean?
If an officer needs help,
I see what you mean.
And a civilian jumps in to help the officer, the civilian can't get charged because they are helping in a lawful act.
Gotcha.
And also if, like in Colorado, I've got some medical experience on me. I can run up on scene and start to aid people, even though I'm not licensed and so on. But if something goes south on it, even if it's not my fault, I can't be sued for it.
Oh, okay.
And so they call it the Good Samaritan law.
Gotcha, yeah. I don't know of a Good Samaritan law in Wyoming. I have not heard of it. There may be. Because it's medical, it's not my expertise.
Right.
So, but as far as helping an officer or deputy, I don't believe there's per se a Good Samaritan law, but I've never seen anyone prosecuted for doing that. So I never have seen that come up at all. So, and I've seen it happen several times where people have jumped in and helped cops, and we usually thank them. We're giving tomorrow night we're doing our awards. Tonight we're doing our award ceremony with our employees, and we have a citizen we're going to be giving a life-saving award to.
Oh my
who
gosh.
stopped and pulled someone out of a burning building just as a deputy was getting on scene. Burning car just as a deputy was getting on scene.
Wow.
So we're going to recognize that citizen for helping out and actually saving someone's life.
Can I have a question coming over the scanner? How do you guys train for something like that where you've got an active shooter?
Oh, okay. So we do a lot of training for active shooter type situations, but not only in initial basic training, but then ongoing in-service training throughout your career. It's just good to stay proficient in something like that. And so every year what we do is, what we're starting to do now, because this is our first year, but we're creating a squad called Professional Standards. And so what that unit does is develop the training plan for the next year, and we look at what the needs are for the agency, what's going on across the country, where we can tell there's a pattern that's probably going to come to Wyoming. So we're ahead of the game, but we always try to have a component of active shooter training, and we also try to get the other agencies involved too, and we train together, because we know when something like that happens, we're all going together. It doesn't matter what color uniform you're wearing, we're all going to help people. And so we try to get everyone involved in the training so we're on the same page. Yeah.
Okay, one last question. Who has control of the SWAT team out here? I've got one video of them trying to do a high-risk warrant, and is that a multi-agency thing or just one agency?
Yeah, it's multi-agency, so we have deputies on the SWAT team, and what happens is the sheriff and so myself and the police chief, we select the team commander for the SWAT team, and so right now it's a police lieutenant who commands the SWAT team.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, and obviously they go through much more training.
Yep.
And there's now I have had some viewers because they saw the big military vehicle,
the MRAP, yeah.
The MRAP, yeah.
Yep.
And they're like, we don't need military stuff. And please correct me if I'm wrong. My view on this is, you know what? Everybody at the end of the night has the right to go home. And if it's going to take an MRAP going to a scene so those officers go home safe at the end of the day, then do it.
Yep.
If we could get a Bradley tank in there, I'd say do it.
Tank, I don't know.
But yeah.
So I'll tell you what, because I got those when I was police chief. I got both of those MRAPs for the police department.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Of course, they were free. They were military surplus, so it didn't cost us anything to get those. But what I like about them is we can take our time. So in other words, you have a barricaded gunman, maybe a hostage, just whatever the situation is. You pull one of those armored vehicles in the front yard. You pull one in the backyard. You have your teams in each vehicle, and you can be there as long. You can even take rounds. The suspect can shoot at you. We're in no rush. You shoot away. It doesn't matter. So we take our time. We do things right. So when you don't have that protection, you make mistakes. All right. You make mistakes, you rush, do things, and so that allows our team to do it right.
That's how we were in the military. You take it slow.
Yeah.
You don't just barge in.
Yep.
So especially when we were doing urban combat training, it's like, no, we're going into a building. We take it slow. We got watch your buddy's back, the whole thing.
Yeah.
So.
What if you have a shooter in the school, or you have something, you got to go in and make rescue, and you got to evacuate kids or things like that. You're gonna wish you had one of those. So at least here we have it, and so if we need it, we have it. Versus if we don't have it, then you wish you have one. And so I'm glad we have them. I support it 100%.
Now, where do you guys usually train at? Do you have a facility here in Wyoming, or I know they've got one in Colorado? Do you use the one in Colorado, or?
No, so yeah, the SWAT team trains all over the city. A lot of times we'll get people who are going to demolish a house, and they let it give us a heads up. So they allow our SWAT team to go in and do explosive breaches and just tear the house apart before they actually demolish it. But we use the Fire Training Academy, which is out there in the east part of the city, for a lot of the training as well. There's a big area out there. There's a fire tower that we can run up and down and all that stuff.
Now, do you guys mostly concentrate most of your force in Cheyenne, or do you guys take your guys, most of them over to Laramie?
Yeah, so with the sheriff's office, of course, most of our calls are on the South Greeley area around there. Most of our calls, which you probably
That's
hear on the
where I hang
scanners.
out.
Yeah, okay. Now, but we also now, since taking office, there's a big demand and a request to have rural deputies. So we were able to implement that program again. So now we have deputies assigned in the West County, and we also have them in the East County around Albin, Pine Bluffs, Burns. Actually, we have a full-time deputy assigned to Burns now. So we're getting our deputies out into the rural areas, which is, the people who live out there really appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in fact, with us, we had some major calls out there. We had a couple fatality crashes. We had a homicide occur just outside of Burns, and it was our rural deputy first on the scene in all those situations because they were assigned out there.
I remember with it.
Yeah.
So I won't take up any of your time. We can talk off camera. And Sheriff, I thank you very much.
Thank you.
I thank you so much for your time. You don't know how much this means.
All right, sure.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.